Are you ready to take action to attain the lifestyle of your dreams?
It's a great way to make a lot of money fast.
Hey, what's up, Clever Investors? Welcome back to the Clever Investor Show. I'm your host, Cody Sperber. This is a place where you get to hang out, and we talk some entrepreneurship. We talk about financial literacy. Sometimes I do interviews. Like today, we got the amazing, the stupendous, which is my new word. You know,
Stupendous.
I think people like to be called stupendous.
I've been called a lot worse.
Well, today you're stupendous.
Stupend-
We have the stupendous.
I put the stupid in stupendous.
We have the stupendous John Malott.
Hey,
He's the co-founder. Well, he's the main founder. I'm the co-founder.
you're the co-founder.
I'm the co-founder.
Yeah. I called you, so that makes you the co-founder.
Yeah, that's right. Of Snap Active Lifestyle, which is a awesome new supplement company that my good friend John was cool enough to bring me in on, which I'm excited to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man.
But look, man, here's my thing with you. You're my most fun CEO type friend.
When you say that, I get nervous sometimes when you say, what do you mean by that?
No,
Just because I'm wild, I do crazy shit?
I think you just live life to the fullest. I think you've married hard work, dedication, building big things, dominating whatever you're into, obsessing over it, and kicking butt with somehow always having fun all the time.
You want to know why? Because I was miserable. Because I did miserable for years. Chasing money, miserable. Chasing money, miserable.
But how old are you, 75?
86.
You're
75. Another reason to take our anti-aging product. 86. I'll be 87 next week.
You know, you're in your 50s.
Yeah, 51.
51. You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
And here's a fun fact about John. Most people don't know this. You didn't get your first tattoo until what age?
I was in my 40s.
You made it all that time. And then it just exploded.
Yeah, because if I'd have did it earlier, I would be getting cover-ups. It'd be all cover-ups right now. So.
It would just say mom.
Yeah,
say
crossed
mom,
off. And it wouldn't even spell right. Mom would be spelled wrong.
Bunch of girls' names crossed off.
There'd be lots of girls' names for sure, but that's my old lifestyle.
All right, so take us back. You know, you got a great come-up story because, you know, I don't, and I said this in other podcasts, I don't trust a man unless he has a dark side. And I think people have to go through some shit to really grow and really learn. Like I know for me, the more honest I get with myself and with the people watching this, the more connection is actually made, you know, and I just love your story because it's just so raw. And a lot of people can probably relate. So give us
I used to think I was the only messed up, dysfunctional loser on the planet. And then I realized, man, everybody's jacked up. So, but yeah, no, look, I had my first felony arrest. I was 15 years old. Disruptive in a movie theater that turned into a robbery. Their fault, of course, not my fault. They, you know, yeah, funny now, not funny back then. But
you were packing?
Yeah, my neighborhood I had to. I wasn't built for the neighborhood I grew up in. I was. Me and my brother were the only ones that looked like us in that neighborhood. And I had bright red hair, skinny little white boy, bright red hair, in a Latin King neighborhood. So Latin King, Vice Lords were the two gangs that ran. And I wasn't built for either one of those gangs. And I realized I wasn't climbing the ranks in those gangs anytime soon either. And they had everything I wanted, though. They had the girls, they had the cars, they had all this stuff, man. Because there was two types of people in my neighborhood, the capitalist and the consumer. And, yeah, I tried to be a capitalist, too. But then I tried the product, which, by the way, there's something called don't get high on your own supply. I didn't get that memo. So by 17, I had a heart attack from smoking cocaine. So yeah, you went all the way in. So wait, I'm
picturing you in a movie theater, and they're like, what were they like? You need to leave, and you were like,
yeah. They basically said we were being disruptive, and they said they did what they were supposed to do. You have to go. So I start walking out with them, and I said, well, I want my money back. And he said, read your ticket stub. It says no refunds. So then I said, well, then give me everybody's money back.
And you just held up
my
movie.
Two friends ran immediately. They run out the door. I'm still in there at that point because now I'm in the middle of this altercation. I got a gun in my hand. I think the gun was bigger than me when I was 15 years old. And
how much did you even get, like $50 out of everybody?
Well, I didn't get anything because I'm telling the dude was freaking out. And I'm telling him to reach over the counter and pull the money out. He couldn't get the cash register open. I was new to armed robbery. This was a new thing.
This was an unplanned.
It was unplanned.
Robbery.
Yeah, it was a terrible decision.
What happened? You go to jail?
Yeah. So I ran. There was a place. It's funny because that that movie theater is now a church that I'll tell you a story later on when I went to that church and the pastor embarrassed me in front of the whole congregation. As I was bringing tithes up to the front, he said, "Let me tell you about this guy. At one time, he robbed this in front of the whole place." I'm like, "Oh, I just wanted to shrink." But across the parking lot, there was a club called 21 Below, where it was an underage place where teenagers went and acted stupid. So I knew if I could get there, I was good because I also
blend in.
Yeah, I'm hearing the sirens.
Except for your bright red head.
Except for my
and
bright
your
red
white.
head. Well, I had a Jerry curl. It was just a mess, bro. When I look back, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Did you ever get away with any crimes? Because I get caught for everything. Just so you know, don't ever commit any crimes with me. 'Cause we're gonna get caught, and I'm gonna rat you out.
That's good.
Like, there's no love in this street.
See, I'm glad you know that, right? I'm glad at least someone admits it. They're gonna, because everyone rats on people now.
Oh, dude!
But at least you say it up front.
They won't even arrest me yet, and I'm like, John did it. He forced me to do it. This was unplanned and a bad idea.
Yeah, no, well, a good criminal knows that you never say that you committed crimes that you didn't get caught for. So,
all right, so we're not going to talk about it.
Everything's been great.
All right, so
crimes.
Dude, you're running and gunning as a young kid. You're doing hard drugs.
Out of control.
And how do you go from that? Because I know a different John.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's
mean,
a good thing you didn't know the other John, because all the money you have, Cody, you would have been a target for sure.
So what was the journey from that to where you are now?
Well, it's because of that. So what's insane is, I lost my sister when she was 21 to a heroin overdose. My younger brother, who's 2 years younger than me, he's been in and out of prison his entire life. He's 49 years old right now, and just life is a meth. It's just drugs, the environment. He never left that environment. For me, when I end up, so I got locked up, juvenile detention facility after the whole, movie theater fiasco. I get out, the crack epidemic, what we know now as the crack epidemic, was hitting these neighborhoods pretty hard. So I got on the wrong side of that, ended up in drug rehab through that whole process. But it was in that drug rehab that things started to turn around. It was there, this guy named Dave, he was a former outlaw motorcycle gang member. He was the first guy that, I respected. He demanded respect. And he introduced me to personal development. And he showed me this whole other world, and he said, look, business is your way out of this neighborhood. Business is your way out of this environment. It never even crossed my mind. Like, I'm a business guy? Are you kidding me? I could not see that. But he gave me the first book that I ever read was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Great book.
Man, it changed everything. When I started, for me, I started catching on that there was, there's ways to communicate with people better. Because everything was conflict. Like, if you first met me, we would just have conflict for no reason. I was just,
just on edge.
Always.
Yeah.
For no reason. Just upset about shit.
And you're such a good communicator too. That's wild. Like you're an amazing storyteller. You're an amazing communicator.
Thank you.
You got that gift. So
that was acquired.
I'm picturing this big burly biker being like, "Hey man, I got you.
Well, here's
a book."
Well,
Read
no,
this.
it was kind of like, "Hey, stupid, you think you're a badass, and you blame everybody." He basically said, "You're a little biatch because you blame everybody and everything. The police, your mom left you." He's like, "You little whiny. You're a little whiny biatch."
Yeah.
And he put the mirror to my face and said, "Look, you made an appointment to be here. You don't like being here. You don't like what's happening because I was still dealing with the justice system. I had nothing at this point because I had burned all my. When you're a drug addict, you tend to burn all your relationships. There was nothing really left for me. When I left that facility, all I had the tennis shoes, the jeans, and the sweatshirt. That's all I owned in the entire world, and I had all these relationships that I left a wake of destruction in my, behind me.
Yeah.
And so he just said, "Look, it's you. It's no one else. It's 1,000% you." And because I was also locked in that, it wasn't like a normal drug thing where you go in and come in and go. Because of some circumstances that led into that, I was locked in this facility. So I was forced to go to all of the stuff you had to do. Which, when you're that age and you're always in trouble, it seemed really corny and stupid. But over time, after 45 days in this thing, I was like, number one, I was clean, so I wasn't on drugs, so my mind was working better.
Yep.
We were doing activities, and I was like, man, maybe there's something to this type of life, and that set the stone. It really it set the tone for everything I ever did.
So magic, you've discovered personal development. You become successful. The rest is
That's
history.
it. Millions of dollars
I don't
flowed
believe
in.
that. Because my dad handed
I
me
wish.
the book Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was in
yeah.
the Navy,
Yeah.
and I threw it in my rack. We were out at sea. I didn't touch it for months, and I got bored while we were out doing donuts in the Persian Gulf at 5 knots, which is like snail pace. And finally one day I got bored. I picked it up. I read it cover to cover in one reading. Couldn't put it down.
What a great book.
And it planted this amazing seed. I still did nothing with the information. But
Really?
it was a seed, right?
Yeah.
I'm picturing maybe, is that what what happened? Or did you?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
The seed was planted. So think about it like this. So I leave drug rehab. I'm clean for 8 or 9 months. Don't touch anything. I go back to hang out with some of my friends. And you know how good your friends can be. It's like, John, look, you don't have to smoke cocaine. There's other ways to do cocaine. And it wasn't long before I'm snorting. I'm back in the mix doing the same damn thing. But here's what was different. This time, because now I had information. Like, it's one thing to be a loser when you don't know you're a loser, but it's a whole nother thing to know, like, this is what put me in in dire straits to begin with. Why am I doing this again? And it was really weighing on me after the fact. Doing the same stuff, but it was a completely different feeling because now I had information. I wrote a book later on with Les Brown called The Power of One. Terrible book, by the way. If anybody wants it, I'll send it to him. You can use it for fire kindling or something. But his part was great. Mine sucked. But that was a long time ago. But Les Brown used to say, once your mind expands, it can never go back to its original dimensions.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's kind of what happened for me. And then that seed was planted. That business was going to be my way out, which I didn't quite grasp, until my second felony arrest when I was 24 years old. Now I got a child at home. And
major difference.
Man, when I was sitting on that bullpen floor, Milwaukee County Jail, I'll never forget as long as I live, all that kept playing through my mind was two things. My daughter, Lauren, who was about 2 years old, who was freaking out crying when I was being let out of the house. And then something Dave said that I now have tattooed on my arm. He said, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I didn't even know where that came from at the time. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. But he wasn't just
generational.
Man, but yeah, he wasn't just talking about money either. So he went on to explain this to me in different ways. That look, money's part of it, but it's this. What are you leaving? What lessons are you teaching your kids? What exam? And I couldn't even take care of the one kid I have, much less my children's children. But I sat on that bullpen floor, and it was July 4th, 1993. So if you know anything about the criminal justice system, I'm not going to court. I was on that floor for 4 days in complete misery. And I was like, you know how it is? You ever get drunk and you're over the toilet and say, God, if you just let me not be sick right now, I'll never drink again. That was me on that floor. Like, I hadn't been praying. And I was like, God, if you just let me out of this, I promise I won't commit crimes anymore. I won't do drugs. I'm going to get over it.
So was that the rock bottom moment?
That was the rock bottom for sure. I mean, besides dying, but this was when
members dying.
Yeah,
like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I could just picture myself sitting on a concrete floor. I got a baby at home. I know I'm a loser. I know I'm making all the wrong choices. Like, that's got to something.
It was terrible. And I had stitches in my head because I had an altercation with the police while else was going on. So I had a pit stop at the St. Luke's Hospital on my way to the Milwaukee County Jail. So everything that could go wrong had gone wrong, and that was like the culmination of all.
Why do you think it is that we as humans, a lot of times, I find this to be a lot of times, we can see the path or we can have the greatest information or knowledge. It can be told to us 50 million different times, but we have to hit freaking rock bottom before we finally wake up. Why do you think that is? Is it just...
I don't know.
Life could be so much simpler if we just actually paid attention to the clues that successful people are leaving for us.
Well, it's just like my kids. My kids will listen to you before they listen to me. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's, what I caught on, and it really has worked in me building businesses, I really got good at third party. Like, I realized the people that were closest to me actually respect me the least. Like, they saw me hanging from the chandeliers at the party. Your mom changed your diapers. Only so much respect. So when I started to connect other people, like, for me, all the time, I'm always pointing at you. Like, if I'm talking to someone, I say, hey, let me tell you about my business partner. So I take it off of me, and then I become the messenger, not the message. So you can't judge me based on my tattoos or my past, my high school dropoutness and drug addict, all that stuff. And that was a big shift for me, is realizing that if I could get it off of myself and put it on someone else, even if it was my idea. I started a real estate investment company many years ago, And I brought this English dude in the mix. Dude never owned it. He was 40-some years old. I was just fresh out of jail, and I was going to be I was Donald Trump. That was seriously, I got this whole thing that I was going to follow Donald Trump's footsteps. And Trammell Crow, who owned all kinds of warehouses in Texas. But nobody took me seriously. So I bring this dude in who's got an English accent. He wears these vests. Never owned a home in his life. We'd walk into the banks. Guess who they talked to? Him. It was my ideas, but I figured out I just keep pointing at him. And then, plus he had a little money too, so that helped. But everything became about him.
The
and
third party, the power of third party.
Third party.
Yeah, that's a powerful power.
Huge.
All right, so to get back on track, so you're having this. No, I like these kind of raw conversations.
I got ADD and 4 other conditions. Who knows where this thing is going to go?
So you're down. You're down. You make this kind of mental decision that this is it. Lord, save me. You get out. And what was the change?
Oh, man.
Did you get rid of that environment? Did you stay out? Or did you go right back?
Well, I'm very comfortable in that environment. That's part of the problem. But I realized I had to eliminate, those associations. The people around me, they weren't going anywhere. Had no plans of going anywhere. They could never understand why I would even want to get out. Even my first wife, she liked being there. I was like, no, this is not where we want to raise kids. We should not bring up a child in this environment. It is not good for anybody. Now I've got a daughter in this environment, which is even worse for women. But it unfortunately, man, it took so damn long. And I show up to an event one day. It's I don't remember who the speaker was, but it was like one of these speaking events, and I show up. And in the back of the room, they had this table. And this table had this big thing that said, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I said, well, boy, I'd like to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. They had this newspaper. I pick it up. I'm going through it. And then there's this promotion for like this digital satellite deal to have personal development pumped into your house. So, well, this would be cool because I snuck into this event because I didn't have the money to go in. So and
there was no YouTube.
There was no
personal development videos.
Internet was
You're
still,
thinking, oh, wow, I like the book. I can actually get this pumped into my house and watch it right on my TV.
Right there in the house.
All
I
right.
was like, this is what I need.
Was this a network marketing thing?
It was a network marketing company.
Okay.
And so I go to this meeting, and they were on me, man. Like they thought I was something, and I was holding on my wallet. There's something up with these happy ass people. Something was fishy, man. And then they just really wanted me to be part of their deal, and I discovered later on why.
Yeah.
But that was a life changer for me. I remember it was $600. I did not have $600. This dude, John Steinmuller, if you're watching, this guy, great lesson on persistence. He would not leave me alone. And I realized if I don't give him $600, this dude's going to call me every day. He would show up at places where I was and start talking about this stupid business that I was no longer interested in, because not only was it $600 a joint, it was $150 a month to have personal development in my house. I'm like, shit, I want HBO. And I don't, I was already done. I was already over it. But finally, one day I show up, and he used to tell the story how I threw the check. I threw it on the table, like, here it is, I'm out. And I thought I was done. I thought, okay, screw it. Now I'm negative in my account.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop, though. Next, he wants to get me to an event. Then he wants me to come to something in another state. And I'm like, these people are insane. Actually, I'll tell you what, I go to Dallas, Texas. I give in again. Because part of me was like, okay, these guys have
a little hope. There's a little hope.
He owned a conversion van company, and he was doing well. Like, the guy was solid financially. He was driving the nice cars at a big house, great family. He wasn't a bad guy. I just wasn't still, I didn't know. I didn't have a purpose yet. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I just knew I had to do something different. And God works in mysterious ways. So I end up at this thing in Dallas, and I was seeing people going across the stage making all this damn money. I was like, and you know how it is sometimes, like, this dude is making that much money? Yep. And there was other people
that's
like,
social proof.
Man.
You're just like, that. Yep.
It was.
He could do it. I could do it.
That's how I felt.
Yep.
But then there were some people like, holy cow, this dude is doing it. Like, that's where I discovered Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, and that's why I discovered Jim Rohn was a network marketer. And Jim Rohn had made millions. His mentor, who we talked about, Earl Schoaf, was his upline in a network marketing company, taught him all this stuff. And then, of course, Jim Rohn recruited Tony Robbins at one point, became his mentor. So all this chain reaction happened where I'm like, it started to bring validation to an industry that I didn't understand. And most people don't understand, because we get approached by some goofball, inappropriately, and they chase, or they invite you to a barbecue and they turn it into a
Most
meeting.
of us think about network marketing, old school, invite your friends over, ambush them. puke all over them,
Yes.
force them to buy in to
Yes.
something that they're probably not going to want.
Yeah.
Drink this tea and shit your pants and lose 5 pounds, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Welcome to the cult.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're still like,
I
what
got
the hell?
pitched the video phones.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
the
yeah.
video phones?
Yes,
Oh man, I
yes.
showed up at a Phoenician. A friend said, "Hey man, let's
Yeah.
go to lunch." It wasn't lunch.
That's how they get
It was
you,
a
man.
network marketing thing. I'm like,
I hate that.
I literally was like, I
The
hate
bait
you.
and switch.
They bait and
Yep.
switched me. I left.
Yep.
I left after like 5 minutes, but I was interested in the phone, and
Yeah.
they kept me there for a solid 5 minutes because he said something about Donald Trump being involved in the phone, and I don't even know if that was true or not, but it was
Who
probably
knows?
not true.
Probably
but
not.
I was just like, oh, Trump's doing a
See
phone
the power
thing?
of third party,
Yeah, I
man. You
know.
just throw someone else's name out there, and then it's
For people that have a misunderstanding about network marketing, break it down.
It's so pure. Just think about it. Number one, we all know word of mouth has always been the best way to move products. Like if you're hearing from your buddy that like this product or this is great, you're more likely to buy into it because it's your buddy. So word of mouth has always been powerful, and social media now allows us to hear word of mouth from people we respect in a different platform and speed and everything else. But the beauty of network marketing, it truly is an equal opportunity. So a guy like me, think about it. Here's a guy, background colorful. Just call it colorful for a second. Doors are not opening for me. So what happens? I become, you know why people end up back in prison? Because doors don't open for you when you have to check that box on the employment thing that says felony. And if you don't check it, you might get the job, but you're gonna lose it later on. So everyone knows that you don't really pay your price. You know what I mean? You're going to jail, but you're gonna pay forever. I got friends to this day that tell me the same thing. They've been out of prison for 15 years, and they know they can't get a decent job. Won't happen. Some of the most talented people I ever met, some of the most entrepreneurial people I ever met, but they're blocked because of what they did 15, 20, 30 years ago. So network marketing basically said, we don't care what your background is because you won't get paid unless you become better, do better, and produce. So it's the purest form. Like you can't brown nose your way to a rank inside of network marketing. Like you can do that in a job. The boss's son could fly by you. Whoever's connected better can make more money. And so it really was a pure way. So what happened, and Jim Rohn taught me early on, because I suck so bad. My communication skills were terrible. But he used to be like, listen, man, what you lack in skills, you can make up for in activity. No one ever told me this. And he said, you might have to talk to 50 people to get one, where like the top dude is maybe talking to 8 or 10. But you could beat him. And he convinced me that all I had to do was just hustle hard. And I'm like, I'm going to have to hustle no matter what I do. And I wanted out of that neighborhood so bad. I wanted out of that Pontiac 2000 two-tone, one-tone rust, one-tone dirt. I was like, I was done. So I was willing to eat a lot of shit. And people talk, man, they don't even know. Like people don't even know what network marketing is. And right away, it's a pyramid scheme. You don't even know what the fucking pyramid scheme is.
Yeah.
Like the company you work for is a true. I worked for GE as a janitor for a minute. Jack Welch was at the top of that pyramid scheme. Wasn't nobody taking his position. And that structure was very clear how it was set up. And I was like sub-pyramid. I'm way at the bottom. I'm underneath the pyramid. And somehow I'm supposed to climb the corporate ladder. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be dead just trying to get near Jack Welch. And I caught him very quickly that, and here's the other beauty of it. It's guys like you that were already business people, that already had a path, already knew how to do stuff. They were teaching me things, teaching me leadership, scaling for free. Well, it wasn't free because, I had to go do the work. And if I
As long as you were on the team,
I'm on the team.
and you were showing up.
Showing up was a big part.
You were getting, and you were putting in the activities.
I was getting game.
You were getting amazing mentorship by people that you couldn't have probably paid.
Impossible.
Because they just weren't into it. But because you were in their downline, they're paying attention.
They are paying attention.
So this is what I got when because I've never done network marketing. I'm a consumer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I bought all the products from all the big companies, especially in the supplement space. I used to have a negative connotation to network marketing. Why would anybody ever do that?
Yeah.
And then I understood this power of
But it wasn't
exponential
based
growth.
on like you working in it or anything. It just where'd it come from? Where does that negativity come from?
I think it was that bad experience of doing the bait and switch.
Yeah, the bait and switch.
It was
always
one
good.
bad
Yeah.
experience, and I think also just this idea of watching people not you see a lot of people get into it and then they jump to a different one.
Man.
And then all of a sudden they're talking to you about the video phone. Then they're talking to you about the T. Then they're talking to you
Yes.
about
Oh.
prepaid legal. And then they're talking. And then I watching that, I'm like, oh,
Frustrating.
you're not winning in your business, so therefore you're
Clearly
jumping. But that's every industry. I never really thought much about it because it wasn't what I was going to do until I met you. And you explained to me the power of exponential growth within network marketing. So you get this word of mouth. One person becomes 2,
Man.
becomes 4, becomes 8, and you don't know when that moment happens where we get the mega launch.
I wish.
So, but when you get it,
It's game over.
it's not only game over, it's a true lifestyle business.
No, and that's the biggest thing. I tell people all the time, look, I have a lot of rich friends, but a lot of them don't have any time freedom. The one thing that this profession gave me, and people were like, how the hell are you traveling? You're every Wednesday you're somewhere. How do you do this? I said, well, my business provides me not just money, cash flow to the extreme, to the max. It also provides me time freedom. Because, I could do everything from my house. Like half the time, when I didn't really know what to do, I'd be jumping on my kid's trampoline, and building my business. I didn't know any other way of doing this stuff. So I had real time freedom. And look, it got at one point. It was,
Once you get it going.
That's
It's
the
not
problem.
in the beginning. Everybody wants it before they get it going.
Yeah, so
when did you
they
get
all
your
quit on me? Everybody quit on me, I'm like, why are you quitting? You don't have a better alternative. But like you said, they go do something else. I went back to Milwaukee.
Same in real estate.
I didn't realize that.
I
but now
hold
I
these
know.
big ass events, and there'll be 1,000 people there, and I'll look right at all of them, and I'll say maybe 100 of you are gonna ever do a deal, and out of the 100, maybe 25 of you are gonna go off to become uber
Isn't
wealthy.
that crazy?
And that's just the reality.
So why
of
isn't
the
that?
business.
But they don't say pyramid scheme scam because real estate is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we all know, people. You can point at people
Because they all want the lifestyle before they put in the
they
work.
want, and that's
So when was your first big win?
my first big win was the company I wrote the check for $600. That company got acquired by a company called Prepaid Legal, which you just mentioned. So I ended up thrusted into Prepaid Legal because there was this transition. I was just starting to do some things.
You know what's great about this story
What's
is
that?
the dude with the felony is out slanging legal services
Yeah.
and
Oh.
probably murdering it.
Man,
Hey, if anybody knows how bad you need this, it's me.
yes, let me tell you.
Just sign up for this shit before
Actually,
you end
it's
up
funny
totally screwed.
because I went to their product really isn't designed for like criminals. It's designed for maybe a traffic offense or doing wills and but I went to my criminal friends.
Got them all
I
enrolled.
said I got to get you in. Well, you need an attorney.
That's amazing.
So that's really where I started getting traction, and it was. Keep in mind, I had been in the profession now for 4 years. I didn't have a lot. I think my biggest month in 4 years was like $1,000. So I was like easy to point at. What a loser! But the thing was, I was growing. I was like stuff was
You were
happening.
growing.
Yes, I was growing.
Yeah.
I wasn't making money, so that part really sucked because people were still talking crazy. My own family talking shit, like go get a real job. I'm a janitor. Like what am I supposed to do here? So they're gonna talk shit no matter what. So I realized no matter what I do, they're gonna talk shit. But then Prepaid Legal came in, and my third year there, that's when I finally cracked $116,000. So, but I had
In a year,
my first 6-figure year.
you broke 6 figures.
Man, and then
Now you believe.
dude, see the difference was I was believing up to that because my first year my first year total in the whole profession was $4,000. And so the progression was starting to
I want
happen.
people to think about this because here in a minute, John's going to talk about making hundreds of thousands a month in this business. I want you to envision yourself making $4,000 in an entire year and still staying the fucking course.
Everybody quit.
Oh, I love that. I love that because I put a sticky note on my wall, $4,000 a month as a wholesaler.
$4,000 a month.
A month. At the time, I was making $34,000 to $36,000 a year as a bookkeeper.
Man.
And I hated the job, but I had this dream of being able to just do real estate full time. And the distant, it's hard to get consistency in anything, let alone real estate. And I just said, if I can do $4,000 a month consistently, I'm going to quit my job someday. So I was just dreaming.
$4,000. That was my year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, 4,000. Then the next year was 16,000, which still sucks. But I caught on, even though I couldn't do the math. I didn't know what that percentage actually was back then. But I knew that was a big jump. Like if I got a raise like that on my job, I'd be pretty fucking stoked. But 4,000.
Now, while you're doing this, you still mopping floors?
No. I was in well, see what happened. The boss's son, here's
Were
where I
you
really
full-time? So you went all in.
Well, all right. So there's a story. The boss's son, who was in college, came back home, and the boss gave his son my job. So I'm catching on to all these cues that this whole corporate
You got outsourced?
I got outsourced as a janitor, bro. Like, are you
That's when you
kidding?
knew.
I'm
I
at
gotta
the
make this
Where
thing
do I
work.
go from here? I'm at the lowest of the low. I can't get. I'm trying to make. I thought maybe I could be a supervisor.
I didn't really. I mean, you kind of were a loser, dude. No, I'm just kidding. You were like,
Yes. No, look, I was, and I.
so
there's no question I was.
So you're now in your third or fourth year of prepaid legal. You're starting to get some traction. Yeah. When was that moment where you were like, dude, this thing's going?
Well,
and
it really was.
unstoppable?
It really was that six figure because they had a ring when you actually took home 100,000. You got a ring, so you got recognized. There was 17,000 people in the arena. That
probably felt good.
Oh, it felt really good.
Yeah.
I was starting to get some notoriety because of my story. Because people see the people I would bring to the events. They're like, oh, why we have all these gangsters? Where'd they come from? And they kept pointing back to me. Because all I knew is they said, go to the people you know. Well, the people I knew were also losers. So I just brought tons of losers. But then I had a mentor tell me, he said, look, every dud knows a stud. And he said, there's links to leaders. And he said, because I said, all my people they're like me.
Nobody has any money. How am I going to get them to do anything?
And half of them couldn't get because you had to get a license in certain states to do prepaid legal. Most of my guys couldn't get the damn license because of their background. So it was just challenge on top of challenge. But they were right, though. Some of my duds, or what society would call duds, led to powerhouses that end up blowing up, exploding. We brought a guy named Frank Thompson in. This young guy, his family owned a construction business in the hood. They were remodeling houses. They would do events at their house. There'd be lines to get in the house. We were doing double deck, like in the basement. We are now connecting TVs, drilling holes to connect TVs downstairs and upstairs. So, because we would play, what we caught on is we couldn't do the presentations either. I couldn't do the presentation. So we always just played. We took a VHS tape, popped it in,
and just
watched
it.
this.
Everybody just sat around quietly.
Just sat around quiet. Some fall
the video.
asleep. It was long too. Like presentations were like 2 hours long back then. You can't do that shit now.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'd see people snoring on the couch. It was a disaster. But that's what it took. If there's no way you could ever say, here's what you do this, and then you have people falling asleep on the couch, and then this other guy, this Frank Thompson from the hood, is gonna bring, and it's gonna explode, and then you're gonna go meet a guy named Poet Woods who had he was a rapper with the Scarface label, and he's gonna come in, he's gonna use this to build up his thing so he can get out of Scarface deal and create his own income. And then this dude starts traveling around with big entourages, and it just started exploding, all these different. But you could have never said, this is how it's going to go down.
Wow!
But that's how it went down.
How far up in prepaid did you make it?
The top. Well, at one time, prepaid legal had 500,000 distributors, and I made it to the top 20 in that company. Before, it was.
So many of our listeners reach out and they ask us how they can get involved in my actual real estate deals. We got a lot going on here right now, from developing and owning multifamily to developing new subdivisions to assisted living facilities, storage facilities, mobile home parks. Our investment firm specializes in finding deeply discounted properties, acquiring them, sometimes knocking them down and building from the ground up, renovating, stabilizing both single-family and multifamily properties all over the United States. That's why we're so excited to share with you clevercapitalfund.com. Now, if you have some investment capital, lazy money laying around, and you want to deploy it and receive double-digit returns backed by real estate, then visit our website and see which fund is right for you. We have both equity funds where you can participate in the upside, and we have debt funds where you just get paid out every month like clockwork. All you got to do is visit www.clevercapitalfund.com today to learn more.
So
when
you build a book of business like that, are you investing any money along the way? Are you doing anything smart with your money, or are you just balling the fuck out?
Doing something smart with my money?
I want to know because, look, the whole premise of the Clever Investor Show is you got to make money and then invest it, right? And so most of us, I know my first come up part of my evolution, I was just spending it. I wasn't being at all smart with my money.
No.
And you have to kind of do that Like, you know, like
Yeah.
that was, you know, it
I
was my
thought
this is my
cars-
$500,000 plus tax bill was my sit on the jail room floor moment where you're just like, oh my God,
had
I'm
that
so
too.
screwed. So were you buying anything, starting businesses, investing in anything, or were you just balling out?
Not at first. I was for every dollar I made, I wasted $2. That was my way. So if I made $1, I found a way to spend $2 or lose $2. I was really good at buying high and then selling low. That was
Solid.
that was my specialty. Like if you want to know how to do that, I had you covered.
Now, was the mindset, I'm so good at now making money, I'll figure it out
I
later?
didn't care. Plus,
Yeah.
I'll just give some advice to your viewers. Divorce is like one of the biggest financial setbacks you'll ever experience. And
You getting divorced.
for anybody, look, divorce is a mother, boy. Divorce, the mental, the financial, every piece of it. And I did that twice. So, yeah, I got clipped in half. And then, the second one, I was really on a whole nother level. But my first one, I had so much cash. I mean, the cash flow was just coming in. Like, I couldn't stop. At that point, we had a couple 100,000 customers. Everyone was paying. And it was just money, money, money. Not crazy money like I saw later on. But for me at that point, I was not in the hood. I was in the suburbs of the hood.
Okay.
You know,
Yep.
but I hadn't gone to Beverly Hills at this point. But I was living in
You're moving on
I
up.
was moving on up, you
Yeah.
know, the Jefferson style. I was heading in that direction, but there was lots of cash. And I knew what to do with cash. Go buy an Escalade. Go buy some jewelry. I knew exactly what to do. Let's go out to the club.
Would you do it? What would you do different?
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh man. I learned because I did lose it all. I've lost it all twice. And the beauty of it was I had the skills to get it back. You know, I've seen people lose it, but you realize, oh, they must not have had the skills. Maybe it was, I don't know what, I don't predict. But for me, I caught on, I had these skills, I had value in the marketplace, and now I could get it back quicker. But so basically what I started doing, though, I started investing in things. And I opened up restaurants. And I've done everything. I had a mixed martial arts cage fighting company. Dana White eventually put me out of business, which I tell that story proudly. But that was another big cash flow business for me. That thing was spitting. We would do these events, and I was getting better on the mic, so I would be on the mic, and you know, I'm introducing stuff. I got people from American Idol singing the Star Spangled Banner before. I got like the Pettis, you know, the whole Sergio just joined the team. He's Bellator's champion right now. Just joined OSNAP with us. But I had all these connections in the UFC because of our amateur fight league, and these guys were ending up in the UFC.
And
But
how?
I was parlaying all this cash in these.
So how long
things.
were you at prepaid legal total?
I was there 17 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then what do
I
you
would've
do?
never left.
What do you do at the end? Like when you're like, okay, I'm ready to move on. Can you sell a book of business? Do you just take it with you and let it ride?
I
What
had
do
a
you do?
couple different books of businesses there that while I was there, I had bought and sold a couple of businesses. So that's what people don't realize about network marketing as well. Is now I've sold.
So someone in your downline or upline is like, hey, I want out, and you're like, hey, I'll give you a $400,000, $500,000, whatever,
Exactly.
whatever money, and
So
buy your income stream.
So think about what you do in real estate. So if you could buy a building and it spits off $20,000 a month, you know, what would you be willing to pay for that up front to get a $20,000 a month cash flow? So that's what these businesses had going for them that people never recognized. And so I would see this, and I'm like, man, there's another $20,000 a month coming in, and I have the skills to turn that into $40,000, $50,000 a month. And that's what I was doing. So I'd offer someone a couple $100,000, take that business over, we'd blow that thing up, get it on autopilot. Now I have another cash flow stream. And I kept doing that over and over. And then after Prepaid Legal got bought by a hedge fund. Mid-Ocean's Partners came in, paid like $600 million for this company. And I loved Harlan Stonecipher, who was the founder of this company. And he just really appreciated where I came from. He loved it. And he was just such a great guy. And when they ousted him, for me, it was like the heart and soul was gone. And these guys, all they cared about was that quarter shareholder numbers. And you could feel it. And I felt like my place was...
It was time for you to move
It was
on.
time to go.
So where'd you go next?
I ended up with a company called Secret, Minerals from the Dead Sea, SEA.
Yep. They attack you in the mall and put
That's
makeup
exactly
on your
right.
face.
So I got a call that said they wanted to get out of the malls.
And you were the expert in growing big teams.
Yep.
You come over, you blew that up. How big did you get your team there?
That was 327,000 distributors in 8 countries.
Damn.
Our little team was doing about 220 million a year.
Dude,
in
and you're
volume.
just printing money.
It was stupid.
It was so good.
And
You're opening up other countries and all this. And the
Yeah.
reason I'm sharing this
I
with you
I went and lived in other countries just for fun.
I don't know much about network marketing until I met you, and I want to drive all the way to this moment, right? This is your first time owning a network marketing company.
Yep.
Now we're in the supplement space.
Yep.
Right? So you blew up Secret. You did really well.
Yep.
This is when you're investing.
Yeah, now because I learned my lesson. When the IRS shows up at your door because you didn't realize, oh, I got to pay tax on all this money. All right, and when you lost so many times, because people come to me and say, hey, invest in this, invest in that, and they seem very sharp, and they seem like they're telling me the truth, and I end up pissing away millions of dollars in different deals.
Just throwing shit around. Some work, some don't.
Yeah. And my mentality, unfortunately, very early on, whatever. I'm gonna make it back. So I lost $100,000 here, lost $200,000 there. I'll make it back. That was always my mentality. I got divorced. Oh, that's another $1 million. I'll make it back. And you get tired of that. That starts to get old after a while. And so I made a lot of mistakes, but I don't regret any of them because now what I realize here's what's crazy, Cody, is there's people now that come into my business and they're just like me. And I say, and now I'm like, let me help you. Let me help you not make this. So the mistakes I made, I realize now I made for the people I hadn't even met yet. And it's kind of cool. And
it's leadership.
It is.
Yeah, it's leadership.
And there's nothing more satisfying, though, to see someone else that you brought up when they make 7 figures because you taught them what to do. And you see them walk across the stage, man,
it's cool, too, because when I first met you, you were doing the Build Your Empire stuff. I spoke on some of your stages. We broed out. I love watching you speak. Been watching you for a long time. You were doing a bunch of stuff in crypto.
Yep.
What do you think of the NFTs and the metaverse and like where things are going now?
I think it's amazing. It's weird. A lot of the stuff. I think it's cool.
Do you own any virtual real estate?
Yeah. I bought. I went into Super World and I own like our little old town, Scottsdale. I own some Ritz-Carltons. Yeah, I started buying. Because I watch you, buying. You're like the Monopoly. You actually literally on a Monopoly board,
buying real estate.
So I said, you know what? It's coming. All I know is this is coming. I don't know where it's going to end up, and I've learned my lesson. Not being open. At one point, because I had all these different businesses. I had publishing companies, mixed martial arts, cage company, real estate company, I had all this stuff, and you stretch yourself thin, and I realized my cash flow machine, which was my network marketing business, none of these other ones ever paid me like that. And all the other ones I had to put my damn time into. I had to keep hustling. Yeah, and the next day I had to show up and do it again, where I was discounting my network marketing business, but that was the one that didn't require me to do anything. And if I'd have doubled down there, who knows where that income could have went.
So now, how did you end up at the snap moment? Because this company's really cool. So first off, if you guys have never seen a snapback before, this is the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
When you first showed it to me, and I was like, oh, this is cool because it's liquid nutrition in this new cool way of delivering it, which is called a snap pack.
Yeah.
And have you snapped yet today?
I snapped my surge this morning before the gym, but I'm ready for a complete or a revert. What do you want to do? We need to snap something.
I've already done all of them, but I'll just get super cracked out and do another another surge. So explain to me. Do you want energy or you want that?
I'll do the multivitamin.
All right, so explain what is OSNAP?
Well, so first off, there was so much frustration happening in the profession, in network marketing in general, because anytime there's the ability to make a lot of money, you end up attracting a lot of the wrong people. Just like anything, real estate too. You can make a lot of money, so there's good and there's bad, just like anything else. It's not any different than a car business, real estate. But I kept getting people that say, "Oh, I'll never do it again because of this or that," and I'm like, man, you just don't understand. Like this profession literally saved my life. When I think back, like this gave me purpose and gave me traction and mentors and all this stuff. So I kept meeting these people, and then I go to my mentor, Terry LaCour, who you know. Mm-hmm. This dude there's levels to this whole game.
It's legit.
Yeah. We went to his garage.
When you own a town,
yeah, you own the town.
The whole town, every street, the billboards are named after you. You're like, there's something going on.
Yeah,
here
the bank. You own the bank. You own everything.
You know what I loved about Terry? For all the success, all the cool stuff, the planes, the businesses, all that stuff. The dude was the realest guy.
Man.
He's the come stay in my guest room.
Yeah.
let me make you breakfast. Let's drive around and hang out. Let me take the kids to the basketball game. Let me just real talk.
Real dude.
I mean, you would never, ever know the dude is just an absolute beast.
Beast.
And I love that.
Like $1 billion a month beast.
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
Yeah.
So Terry LaCour is...
So I used to complain to Terry. And I'd say, and basically say, well, then do it yourself. I got a pretty good life. I'm like, what? Do I really want to go and own the business? And now I'm responsible for this and all this stuff. And then I realized, look, I 28 years building in this profession. Let me come in here and do this right. Let me take the people that never quite got where they should have gone, that lifted other people up, that picked the wrong companies because they didn't understand what to look for, how to check the boxes. Let me bring them into a company where it really is people first, because I've always operated people first, and I always operated speed, longevity, and flexibility. For me, it was never just come in and grab a bunch of cash. It was never a cash grab for me. I always knew I would work my ass off. Boom, boom, boom. Like for 3 years I worked, got that check to $250,000 a month, and that check just kept going. It never stopped. So I went and played all over the world. I was living in Australia, on the ocean. I'm in Japan and South Korea. I'm seeing the world. I'm doing all this stuff. I have the house on top of Camelback Mountain over here.
And you'd wake up and be like, "Ooh, I just made $50,000 bonus today."
Man, I remember one morning I woke up to a $250,000 bonus because of what happened in South Korea while I was sleeping. I mean, that's a great year in one day. Those were the type of things that were happening. People don't even think about this. Like I hit the lottery that morning when I woke up, and I went and. I was smarter then, so I made some investments right away. But then I blew, probably $100,000. I think I bought a watch.
You gotta have a little fun.
Yeah, I did.
You wouldn't be my most fun CEO friend if you didn't have a little fun.
I still do stupid shit, but
it was coming in like clockwork.
It was, and you couldn't stop it. I couldn't suck bad enough.
So our whole thing with O-Snap, and the reason I jumped on board with you, besides you being a beast and Terry LaCour being a beast, is there's no sugar in our products.
Man.
And I think that's a big thing. Most people don't understand that there is a diabetes problem going on in the world. So many people are overweight. So many people are getting bombarded with the worst foods, the worst fake, I call them fake supplements. Yep. It's like fake news. It's fake supplements. They put these sugar on the gummies and they slam them on you, and they're not good for you.
3, 4, 5 grams a gummy. If people would actually look what they're getting.
Or energy drinks. With if you look at the sugar content on most energy drinks, and I know they have a non-sugar version sometimes, but with
even worse, sucralose, fake sugars, they're even worse for you.
It's like, if you filled up a plastic cup, it's like this much raw sugar.
40, 50, 100 grams in some of these things.
It's insanity, and it's not good for you. And so, how do you?
The thing about sugar, though, it kills you slowly. You don't realize you're slowly built. It spikes the cortisol hormone, which leads to the flat tire around, all these things, and you could work out, do all these things. You wonder why I can't. Well, you got to get off the damn sugar. If you go to Jamba Juice, the average Jamba Juice drink has 40 teaspoons of sugar in it.
Oh, wow.
And people think that's a health. People think that's a health store.
Yeah.
That thing is killing you. And so we made a decision, and then we put them in snap packs because why? People thought, is this a trend or a fad? No. Listen. First, you had pills, which I discovered 40% of the population can't swallow pills or won't, whatever the reason is. Then you got powders, which fillers, all the junk they put in, cheap caffeine.
I always like pour the powder and then it pours all over the place.
Yeah, it's messy. It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. And then you've got what came on the scene later, which catered to our addiction to fat, salts, and sugars, were gummies. Man, they taste good. Give your kid. They got these Sleepy Time melatonin gummies. They got little dinosaurs in the package. Give your kid one of those at night. I guarantee your kid loves them. But this is the problem. 5 grams of sugar per gummy. Any parent knows giving your kids 5 grams of sugar right before you go to bed is probably not a good idea. Yeah. But these kids crave it. They love it, so they keep begging you for them again. They'll see it in that aisle again. They're going to want it again. So it's all marketing. And how much do you think you're absorbing of that wax? I mean, it's all marketing. So we said, let's create a brand new category. Highly absorbable liquid nutrition. It's the best way to receive your nutrition. But in the past, carrying a bottle around is a pain in the ass. You got to refrigerate it. Yeah. You drop it, you break it, can't go through TSA. Here comes Snap Pack.
You literally just throw this in your purse or gym bag. It's always on the go. No water needed. Because when we first developed this product, we thought, you'll pour this in water and you'll dilute it. And some people do that. Yeah. I just slam it.
That's what happened.
And here's the thing. I do, like, for like coffee drinkers that like to sip real slow and stuff, it might be a little transition. But literally, I'm about to go to the gym. I'll take one of our Surge products, which is our most popular product. Yeah. 270 milligrams of green coffee bean energy?
So just under 200, about 200, just a little over 200 milligrams of raw green coffee bean. So this is what you have to understand is not all caffeine is created equally.
Okay, so this says 270 milligrams in the proprietary blend.
Yeah. So what you got is between. So you have
it's about 200. Got it.
So what people don't realize is normally, like when you have coffee, number one, if you do research on coffee, you start to realize that most coffee is tainted, genetically modified, mold. There's all kinds of issues with coffee.
There's a difference between a black roasted coffee bean and a green unroasted.
Number one,
bean.
just we know there's difference between even raw vegetables and cooked dead, like killing your broccoli and pouring cheese on it is probably not as good as grabbing a raw. We know this stuff. So getting that caffeine delivered in the source that nature meant to deliver it in is different too. That's why people, when they do our product, I don't have jitters, I don't have none of this stuff. It's because you're used to getting that cheap, dead, black caffeine that's cheap as hell, and they put it in your pre-workout, and now you're shaking for the rest of the day, but you're up. Here we said, let's not go that route. We went the extra mile to make it vegan, which is a big deal today. All plant-based, science-backed, sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten, all the frees. And then put it in a snap pack, it's game over.
And make them taste good.
And make them taste good.
That tastes like green apple. So that's your daily multivitamin with organic greens.
18 organic greens.
All right, let's do a snap.
Let's do it. So
let's have a little fun.
We never snap. We never snap alone.
Every time John snaps, it's like a party. It's like, hey,
we go from the health clubs to the nightclubs.
I know. All my video guys, everybody does snaps here. If you roll here and you roll in with like a Red Bull, I'm slapping that out of your hand.
You got to.
And not just Red Bull, any energy drink.
Get it out of here.
Yeah,
well,
we can edit the Red Bull part out later. It's just any energy drink.
Any drink.
But I like it because it's just fast, man. You just grab it, snap it, and go.
Well, look, think about what you do. You teach people how to be more efficient. You teach people how to make money.
I drive a Tesla, John, because I don't want to stop and get gas. I want to be able to drive in the carpool lane. I look for ways. High performers look for ways to steal back minutes.
Boy.
That is it. If you're a high performer, your number one most valuable asset is always your time, and you need to find a way to steal back every available minute. That's Tony Robbins calls it net time. You want to listen to a podcast? Well, I don't have time for that. Yes, you do when you're sitting on the shitter.
Yep.
It's no extra time. It's your net time. It's in your transits. It's in between phone calls. You can create the time, but you got to figure out how to steal back minutes, and that's what I love about this.
This is so fast, so efficient, so convenient, and here's what's the other thing that's crazy is every time we do this around someone, they're like, "What is that?" Think about that just from a business standpoint for a minute. I've never had that. Imagine if I just took some pills, people would be like, "Oh, that old dude is probably down in like Prozac or something." But when they see me snap a pack, I was at Bottle Blonde at the nightclub with Aaron Wags.
Yeah.
And we had the lady from Dance Mom. She got like 6 million followers on Instagram. We had all these big influencers like, bro,
they want to know what is that?
They're like, I want it. And because they see me jacked, they're like, how do you have more energy than every 20-year-old in the
From the
club?
health clubs to the nightclubs. You want to surge it up? You want to go?
I never stop. But I'm efficient with my sleep. So we created that product.
Yeah, our sleep product's great.
Insane.
So, dude, I don't take sleep every day because I sleep pretty good. But when I don't, I take it. I do all of our other products. We have 4 products every day.
Me too. And I do the sleep every night because
all right,
of the melatonin.
This is probably my 2.5 surges in a day.
So I like to say, some people do premature snappers. They're premature snappers. They snap it all on their eyeballs. We put it right to our. I tell people I'm in not sales. I'm in information and knowledge. Put it right to your mouth. Push it in the center. Hear it snap.
Boom.
There it is.
Tropical. That's good.
You can smell it in the air. It's funny, man.
The green apple?
Yeah, you smell the green apples.
All right, so how do people make money with this, though? So I show up, I give you $49, I get a business in a box.
When you say it like that, it sounds insane to me.
Just how ridiculous that deal is.
Dude,
if somebody said, "Can I start a real estate business for $49?" I'd be like, "No." You could do it for under $1,000.
Yeah, you can't even get into your class here for $49. But you think about you. Look, I turned a $600 check into tens and tens of millions of dollars. So it's the same thing. I learned all this. So I tell people first and foremost, you're buying like a McDonald's franchise. It's nothing different. What does McDonald's give you? They give you a business system. You get the right to do business in their name. And then you pay $40,000 for the burger manual. They take you to 2 weeks of burger school. Doesn't matter how big of it. You got $2 million to invest in a McDonald's. You're probably pretty sharp. You still have to go through that, learn the entire system. We do the exact same thing for $49. you get your version of the burger manual. We got the apps for automation. And, then, of course, you and I have been working on that stuff because that's why you came on. That was really
That's what I'm excited over is how do you take old school network marketing and the new school direct response stuff? And I've done over $80 million online.
I know. That's why I called you.
And information.
Yeah.
Not like this is and you guys get to come along on this journey with us because we're about 8-9 months old. You're going to watch us blow OSNAP up. And I'm excited for the viewers to watch this evolution because I'm learning a tremendous amount about supplements, about selling on Amazon, about growing a network marketing team, about the business behind the scenes. There's going to be a day, like you said, where we're going to have a stadium with 20,000 people in it. And it's going to be glorious.
Glorious.
And you can hear it now.
I already saw the future of our company. I remember walking into South Korea, 30,000 people in the room.
Dude, you believe in this company so much. You already got an OSNAP tattoo.
I do. OSNAP.
You didn't even hesitate. You're like, I'm in.
Look, if I'm in, I'm in. There's no. I don't do like to put the toe in the water. I'm not good at that type of thing. I can't be sort of kind of into something. Like I'm all in. And when I realized, when I looked at two things. I looked at what 5 Hour Energy did when they shrunk down energy drinks, $240 million right out the gate. Like, okay, so they just took these bigger drinks, put them in a smaller package. Still not good for you. Still, every sip is not really good for you. So what if we could do better than that in one snap? Now we're talking about convenience, efficiency, all these things you talk about.
No refrigeration. Snap and go.
So what just that one product? What would that do? And so I was like, and then creating a new category. Like we got kids with we got these families coming to me now. I never even thought about this. Kids with special needs. These kids can't or whatever, they can't take pills or won't take pills. And these moms are coming to me saying they're getting their kids 18 organic greens. They're getting them vitamins and minerals and these things that they're not getting.
Every single one of our products has one special kind of hook to it.
Yeah.
A clinically studied
real
neurofactor, you got the
brain.
Focus. You got the 5-HTP and the
Pharma-GABA.
And the Pharma-GABA on this for the sleep. You get that real chill, deep REM type sleep that makes you just feel so good. And you don't get the melatonin crazy lucid next day. I'm kind of cracked out feeling. Reverse. This is an interesting product because it's got AC11. I didn't even know what a telomere was.
No, most people don't.
It was like, oh, it elongates your telomeres by 40%. It's like
they're learning though.
This
Mark is being educated right now for us.
This is, in my opinion, me being in my 40s. You being 104. Yeah. This is how you. I'm gonna throw this mic. This is how you last so long and look so good.
Yeah. No, this was a game changer because I was taking AC11 for the last 4 years, and I was saying, look, if I had to get rid of everything and I only could have one thing, it would be AC11, because when your
DNA replicates every single time,
bro, and lengthening your telomeres, because when your telomeres shorten. This is fact. Nobody can argue this. There's so much research on this. When your telomeres start to shorten and fray, your life is shortening. That's what we're linking aging to. We're skin problems, cancers, it just goes on and on. There's so many things linked. And by the way, when they get to a certain length, you're just dead. It's as simple as that. This is not up for debate. That's why you see, I'm saying right now.
It's like biohacking.
We're way ahead of the curve on this.
It's like a little way to biohack a little bit.
Instead of doing anti-aging like most people do, it's like if you read the thing, it says it may diminish the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Well, we're working from the inside out. Just like if you study some of the big pharmaceutical companies right now, they are saying the final frontier for them is DNA. It's cellular. Your DNA is what makes. Here's the problem. I'm gonna tell you this last thing, and I get excited about this. When you go to the doctor, the first thing the doctor does is he asks your history. They want to know your parents. Is there a history of heart disease or things like that? Then you say, okay, well, my mom had this. The doctor then lets you off the hook. Basically, what can you do? Your DNA sucks. You got a history of heart attacks. Let me prescribe some pills for you. You're off the hook completely. So now you don't change your lifestyle. You don't change shit. Americans don't change shit until they actually have a heart attack, until something actually bad happens. They keep eating the crap. Are
you saying that we have to learn the hard way?
We have to learn the hard way.
Sitting on the jail floor?
Well, Jim Rohn used to say, he said, if you do have a heart attack, or probably now we can say when you do have a heart attack, you're more if you survive it, you're more likely to live a long life. Because when do you change? You already knew you shouldn't be doing this shit leading up to that. But now you have the heart attack. Now everybody's holding you accountable. Your wife is like freaked out of her mind. And they're telling you, stop eating this, stop. You're not going to, would you be drinking bottles of Mountain Dew after you had a heart attack? Would you be eating it? No, you wouldn't.
No.
So what we're saying is that, like, we're holding ourselves accountable. Your DNA loads the gun, but it's your environment that pulls the trigger. You can change everything. We have the ability to change all this stuff. And when I caught that, because I had my cholesterol was redlining bad, and I kind of just chalked my dad's on cholesterol medication. I kind of chalked it up. It's it's what it is until I started doing research and realized I can change it. Now every time I go in and get my numbers done, I got a young wife. My numbers are as good, if not better.
How did you get such a hot wife, John?
Well,
I want to understand.
Look at me. You see this, look at this body of mine, and look at my face. I'm very persuasive.
You guys are very fun to watch on TikTok and
she's the best
Reels.
Man.
She kills it. She's a great compliment to you.
She is a hustler. She gets it, man. She's an introvert with courage. She's strong as hell. I always say, like, I had relationships.
Third time's a charm.
Third. I'm afraid to even say it.
Don't jinx yourself.
Oh yeah. Third time is it. There's the only D in this is not divorce, is death. Someone has to die. It's the only way out of this one. But
yeah,
no, it's.
But you guys are really not only just complimentary, but you guys are in alignment with building an empire together, and I think a lot of people envy that. We want those kind of relationships. Yeah. If you can find a significant other that will build with you, dude, it's such a good feeling.
I don't have to be in the club anymore looking for that either. We waste so much time as single people, and we have so many guards up, and we carry baggage from our last relationships. And then you got to decide, is the relationship transactional or transformational? Where am I? And everyone's playing games now, so it's nice to have someone who doesn't.
And where's the real connection anymore?
Because look, it's hard to have a connection. Because I'm worried. Like if you got money, imagine you being Signal. I mean, they're
hold on. Let me imagine me being Signal.
Yeah, Shannon, don't. I apologize for bringing this up.
Me and John in the club.
Me, you and I, two old guys in the back popping surge.
Is that all we do? Because that's your famous.
That's
move.
my thing here.
You just pump the deuces.
After I snap, I don't know why. It's like, hey, peace, love, happiness, brother. Join me. Have a snap. But yeah.
What are you afraid of, man?
Man, I push fear out. Like this morning, I was in the cold plunge, and I asked for the connection. I said, get rid of all the anxiety, fear, doubt, worry, get rid of all. Because I used to be worried about every damn thing. I worried about how the bills were going to get paid. I worried about everything. I had fear about everything. I grew up in a neighborhood where I wasn't allowed to be. My friend Mike Turner and I were talking about this because he was the leader of the Junior Kings in our neighborhood and went to prison for 11 years. And Mike and I were just talking. We rode big wheels together in the neighborhood. And he talked about, like, the guys come around now and say, damn, John Malott came up. And some of what I got good at in that neighborhood was blocking fear. If you see my pictures when I was a teenager, I always had black eyes, broken bones. I was always a wreck, always beat up. We had to wear our hats to the left. That's represent our and we had starter jackets that represent our colors. I could not take that off, and I couldn't turn my hat because other gangs wore to the right. I was constantly going up against big-ass dudes. They would say, put your hat straight, or
You were always on guard.
Always.
Yeah.
So I'm more afraid for my family. My fear is, like, I have 4 daughters. What are my kids doing? Where are they going to be? I pray for them too. Like, man, because there's a lot of predators and messed up people out there. So that's kind of stuff I worry about.
I heard it's your obligation to leave a legacy for your children's children.
Children's children, bro. That's it, man. It's like, that's my whole thing, legacy. It's like, I want my children's children to be talking about me.
If one of your kids came up to you and said, "Dad, I'm going to get a new tattoo. It's a giant dick, and I'm going to put it on my arm," would you talk him out of it?
Yes,
you would?
Yes, I would.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say wait. I get the dick later. Just wait.
But Dad, look at your arms. You're like,
well, I don't have a dick on my arm.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know.
All right, so if you,
you
just got to spice it up. All right, if you can give yourself, we're going to end strong. If you can give your younger self some advice,
simple.
What would you say?
Be humble. Man, my ego cost me so much when I was young. And I don't know why I don't know why I had an ego. I didn't have shit. Like, I had this big ass ego.
It's like an overcompensation. No, I didn't mean it. No, John, I'm sure you're hung really, really well. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like an overcompensation of not actually having. Yeah, so you were like, for sure, fronting a little bit, but overpowered. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And look, and we do it. Social media is the best at this because everybody's like balling. I look at these 20-year-olds. I'm fucking pissed sometimes. Like, how did you get the second Rolls Royce and the man? And then I realize, well, it's not their shit. So it's.
So you would tell your younger self, "Hey, man, check the ego at the door. Be humble.
Yeah, I'll tell you what really hit home for me. I think I was like 16,000 a month, and my mentor said to me, he said, John, you forgot where you came from. And I was like, what? He said, you suck. Your ego is annoying. And he said, I'm done dealing with you until you check yourself. And he says, because you're going to lose it all anyhow. And he used to hang, like, we can't, like, we're mentoring people now. We have to be all nice and friendly because they'll try to cancel you. They'll be mad at you. We got thin skin. But back then, we didn't have options. You know, I couldn't then bounce to another mentor. It was like, fuck, the only guy I got. You know, he doesn't like me anymore.
He's firing me. What
now what do I do? Now I'm back to being a loser.
Because that's hard to hear.
It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
The truth is hard to hear. When someone says your breath stinks, man, it's hard to hear that shit. But get a mint. You know, you make some adjustments. Don't fight it.
So he told you he didn't like it.
He didn't like it, and it started to make sense. I started taking inventory of people around, because here's the thing: when you lose it after you've had a big ego, people are cheering for you when you're up, but they're in the back of their mind, when they see someone with a big ego fall, they're now throwing flames. You know, they're throwing gasoline. They're kicking you when you're down. But it's different because there was 2 different times I lost money. One was right after, you know, my prideful big ego, and there was nobody around. It was crickets. I got it all back again, but I humbled my. As a matter of fact, ego is the enemy. I have a tattoo of that as well on my writing hand, just to remind me. Because it's easy. You get some money, man, and you start thinking I'm a badass dude. Every girl wants me, you know. But it was the second time I lost money because I was humble and I had helped so many other people make money. Now all of a sudden doors were opening up, so the money came back way faster because people were like, "Oh, they like me, man. I helped them do shit," and I was humble about it. I wasn't like a big dick, like the tattoo you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great lesson, just because, you know, I see a lot of people going down the wrong path. It's their first time getting real money. They're spending it on all this dumb shit. They're posting about it as if other people are really excited that you got your second Rolls Royce. And I used to be that person. I had 2 Lamborghinis. I had a Porsche. I had, you know, the Tesla and the Escalade.
All the
I
stuff.
had a whole fleet.
Yeah.
And they were all white, right? Or they were all black. Like, I just, like, matched everything. And I walked around thinking, dude, look at everybody cheering for me.
Yep. No.
They weren't cheering for me. And like you said, in the back of the head, they were actually hoping that I stumbled.
Man, I was living on top of Camelback Mountain. Had everything. Had the cars, everything. I was, you know, single at this point. The rappers were hanging out at my house. The strippers were at my house. I would wake up in the morning, my pool's still filled with strippers and people partying. I don't know any of them. These people ain't around. When I lost it, do you think any of them were around? Never saw them again. It was always transactional and meaningless.
Yeah. And the lesson in that is, when you do it right, people remember what you did for them.
Big difference.
And that's it. And that's, at the end of the day, all we have is the feeling we transfer to people by helping them out in their lives. And so
that's what this
all
is about.
All you young cats out there doing it wrong, pay attention, because I'm telling you, people aren't going to be there for you when shit gets tough. And
you can't act like Grant Cardone right now.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I love Grant. I love Grant.
There's only one Grant.
There's only one Grant.
There's only one Grant.
A 20-year-old can't act like him. And I see some of these 20-year-olds trying. You're not Grant yet. Wait till you're Grant. Then you can.
Dude, that dude put in decades.
That's what people don't realize.
Decades to get it.
That's exactly. We know Grant well, and I know what he did to get there. But you see young people emulating people that are already at the top of their game, and already have so much money that there is no fall coming, no matter what. But they try to be like that person before they put in the time, the energy. Just because you did well in the biggest, longest bull market in the history of America, you could throw a dart at a stock sheet and make money.
Everybody's brilliant.
It drives me nuts. But I've been through big crashes.
I appreciate you for being so raw and real. I appreciate you for allowing me to be part of OSNAP, the company. I think we're changing minds, bodies, and bank accounts. I think we're going to help a lot of people. I hope anybody watching this, if you want another side hustle, stream of income, check out OSNAP, dude. Yep. Check out OSNAP. John, how do people hang out with you?
Well,
how do they find you on social?
Instagram is john.malott, Malott. OSNAP.com. You can go there. Go to osnap.com/Cody and can connect through there and be part of the team.
Yep. It's and on TikTok, it's john.malott.
John.malott.
So pretty much on all socials.
Yeah, I'm a TikTok guy too now.
I was going to say, you're killing it on TikTok.
Man, I fought it forever.
All right, so follow John. Get involved. If you want to learn more about our products, it's osnap.com. If you're watching this in a video format, we'll put a link in the description so you can check it out. But, dude, I want to have you back. I want to continue to have conversations about just business, making money. And, we'll maybe check back in here in a few months. OSnap is growing like freaking crazy right now.
It's insane.
I have a prediction, and we'll go back and watch this like a year or two from now, right?
Yeah.
I have a prediction that you're going to be you're going to have a couple $100 million per year coming into your world. Just John Malott. I just want a few tens of millions. I'll just ride your coattails all the way to top. But look, dude, I think you're going to be the greatest private lender for me. I just am setting it right now.
I'm going to get allowed into the deals.
You're allowed to get into all of my real estate deals. You just got to put up some dough.
Finally.
I'm thinking 7% is a fair simple interest.
Yeah, you do a good job though. You get people's money back, so I think I'll do that.
Don't worry, I won't be one of the ones that doesn't.
I'll
give
buy.
you an ROI.
I don't like that whole. I've already did the whole buy high, sell low thing. I'm not interested in that
All right,
part. So
let's
help me make
change
some
that.
real money in that side. Let me focus on building people up, lifting, transforming minds, bodies. That's what I want to do. I want to be in the trenches with people, and we've created so many 6- and 7-figure earners over the last 2 decades. This thing has the potential. I mean, everything we did, this is 10, 20, 30 times.
This is the whipped cream, cherry, and sprinkles on the John Malott sundae.
I'm telling you, it's this exclamation point of me, 28 years of building, bro. So we're moving so much faster, and I've got flexibility. We got money. We got Cody back in the whole thing right now,
and you got a cool wife.
You got a cool wife.
It's all there.
Everything's there, man.
All right,
it's the whole package.
Well, look, get involved if you're watching this. We appreciate you. Thanks, brother.
Yes,
See you on
bro.
the next one. Until then, take care. Comb your hair. We out.
Hey, thanks for being a subscriber of the Clever Investor Show. As a thank you gift, we wanted to give you something that we know is going to help you get started as a creative real estate investor. It's our Real Estate Success Kit, and it's completely free. Just go to www.reisuccesskit.com to customize your kit, but essentially it's a collection of 15 training tools designed to help you get results quickly as a creative real estate investor. From systems to lead generation to finding cash buyers to creative ways to close deals and get paid. Your free REI Success Kit is just a few clicks away. Once again, the website's www.reisuccesskit.com.